Hey everybody, it's Wilderness Woman back for round two today. Although as slow as my internet is, you might not get these videos until tomorrow. So, let's start out by saying I have to chuckle when people say CBDC won't be able to limit what you can and cannot spend your money on. For some reason, many people think that that's just not possible for the government to implement. It came up to share with you all what's been brought back on the table in Wisconsin. There was legislation to say what you can and cannot spend your food stamps on besides just food items in Wisconsin back in 2015. At that time, they tried to get really crazy restrictive and say, well, you could only buy X amount of fruit and only X amount of grains and X pounds of potatoes. Um, and it failed. Now, for me, please take to heart this is a two-way street. I I agree people should be eating healthier, and when I'm standing in line, I do see some really poor decisions being made. But I don't think taking millions of our tax dollars from just a state level program to implement changes is necessarily the correct way to do this. I would rather see those millions of dollars put into education so people can make long term choices that are best for them. And unfortunately, for some families that are receiving the SNAP benefits, quick, easy to prepare meals for their kids is the only way some of these kids will eat, especially if they're younger, um, because some parents don't cook. Some parents can't cook because they're working. There's a whole host of reasons. So I'm not necessarily against healthier choices. I am against how these healthier choices are going to be mandated into people's lives. So what it is Assembly Bill 177 in the state of Wisconsin, if you want to look it up. And believe me, you're going to have to take a couple links to get somewhere because there's references to in that bill to other bills. And basically, what it says is that people will need to take 2/3 of their SNAP money to buy nutritional foods like beef, chicken, and produce. Also, in that bill, it is prohibiting any crab, lobster, shrimp, or other shellfish. Now, there are benefits to eating some of those foods. Yeah, you don't need to eat them a lot, but basically, they're very high in protein. They're full of healthy fats instead of saturated fats like potato chips, which you can get on the other 1/3 that you can spend how you want. Um, Wide range of vitamins, including zinc, B12, iron, and selenium. So, really, if I had to see people choosing these types of fish products over potato chips, I'd rather see the kids eating, the fish products. But what do I know? Um, one of the quotes in this whole thing struck me really hard because it said monitoring what people buy is not difficult. It's already being done. So if you think if you're using food stamps, aka SNAP program, they don't know what you're buying, they do. If you think when you're using the grocery rebate, loyalty cards, whatever you want to call them, they know. They can track all of this. They see it all. Which makes you wonder, can they tell what you're using with your charge card besides just the ammo that they've classified in their own little area now? Anyway, so 67% of the foods must be the approved foods under S 253.069. So I had to go to another website to say, hey, what is this? Which basically didn't tell me a lot. It said foods approved under the Women, Infant, and Children program. So I had to go look up, well, what foods are and are not allowed under the Women, Infant, and Children program. So when looking at this list, some of the things that excuse me, I do have to look at this. Some of the things that people will not be able to buy anymore are cereals high in sugar. Okay. Um, all breads and bread products must be whole wheat bread, whole grain bread. So no more white bread for those picky eaters. Sorry. Um, no more white macaroni. In fact, from the looks of this, because there's a processed cheese, no more boxes of macaroni and cheese to make. You'll have to buy your cheese and melt it yourself, which if you have children trying to make themselves supper because mom and or dad are working, it's not going to be quite as convenient. Um, Juices have to be 100% juice, which, yeah, it's a healthier choice. I get it. You can still buy milk. Um, they do have only 9 types of cheese that are approved. Otherwise, you can't have it. Um, and they must be domestic cheeses made from 100% pasteurized milk. So no powdered cheese anymore. There goes that macaroni and cheese mix again. Um, let's see, what was the other big one I noticed? Um, no soup. So you can't have soup. You gotta make it yourself. Again, if you are a single parent, mom and or dad, and you're working a lot of hours and your kids are left to try and cook for themselves at a young age, this one's gonna be tough. Um, no immature varieties of like peas or beans or anything like that. And baked beans, if they have the little hot dog franks in them, no, can't have those anymore. There's certain requirements for what type of peanut butter you can and cannot have. Fruits, you can have a lot of anything as long as there's nothing processed and no added sugar. Um, and then you can't have any herbs or spices anymore. You'd have to use your 1/3 to delegate that. Well, unfortunately, if you're cooking at home and you want your food to taste good, herbs and spices are going to be required. So that's going to eat up a nice chunk of that 1/3 budget. No cream vegetables or any vegetables with sauces. No mixed vegetables containing noodles, nuts, or sauce packets. So if a working parent is coming home and trying to make a quick meal and goes to the frozen section and picks up something that's pre-mixed out of the frozen section that has noodles or pastas in it with the vegetables, and you cook it and warm it up in the pan, can't have that anymore because it's mixed. No fruit nut mixtures. So there goes any trail mixes. That still could be, a healthy snack. Um, no peanuts or other nuts, which I found absolutely crazy because, again, it's a healthy snack. And I get too much peanuts. Peanuts don't have the nutritional value they're really raved up for. But other nuts, almonds, walnuts, do have that nutritional value and are good sources of protein and fiber and healthy fats. Um, so it's just going to be big changes for everyone on what is and is not allowed. That's where I say I would rather take this money, where they said it could cost up into the millions of dollars to implement this program, and they're going to pay the stores to update all the software and any scanning requirements, so that they can be in compliance with the program. Where long term, if we actually just educated people instead of mandated people, we might have better success in the long run. Um, but my real thing that I wanted to use this as an eye opener for is for any of you that think that CBDC still can't control your life and tell you what you can and cannot buy. It's just not possible. You need to start looking at some of these programs that the states are doing. Like I said, Wisconsin wanted to do this back in 2015 and it didn't pass. Well, now here it is in 2023 and it's back on the table. So mandates, let me control your life because you're not smart enough to make good decisions. There, it's here. I hope everybody sees that it's here. This is just a start. Have a good day.